2 weeks before the end of the month, and that just didn't work for me. I was 2 weeks late getting the display running. But no, I would love more than anything to be able to go back and do that. I just don't think I have the time. And that time may not come until January or February.
Yeah.
And by that time, I'll have a whole new list of songs that I want to get accomplished. So, that's just the way it is. I mean, going back and resequencing a song, unless it really becomes a requested song. I was at the expo and I had a fella, super nice fella, walked right up to me. He's like a brick house. He's like, I'm 6'2". I'm 250, 260 pounds. I'm a big boy. You can't miss me. This guy was bigger than me. Holy cow. I was afraid. He's like,
was that Jeff?
He looked down at me and he said, Clyde, I want you to sequence a song for me. I'm like, yes, sir. So and I said, what song would you like? And I want that there, oh, Holland song. Well, I just did that one. I'll get that for you. Hold on. And he's, no, I like it, but I want to. Oh God.
Well, if it was Jeff, he don't talk like that, but he is a big old Texan, I think. So.
Oh my God. I mean, and I'm not making fun of him. I appreciate his confidence he has in my ability. But I told him, I said, I have to take a month or two off of it. He says, no, I want this on my house. My house. I don't want this on everybody's. I want this on my house. He says, what's your regular price? And I told him, and he says, you're going to double that price because you're doing it on my house.
Oh, geez.
I was like, it's hard to tell people no, but I have a feeling in this case, I'm going to be doing Oh Holy Night a second time. And I don't think anybody's going to get to see it, but him and the people that
just
come to visit.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So how do you, or when do you decide what the songs are going to be? So let's say 2020, 6 months away, 5 months away. When do you start deciding on what your songs are going to be for 2020?
Well, I've kind of answered this before in the groups. One of the things, whenever I look for a song for the monthly sequence, number one, it has got to be kid friendly. None of our songs are ever going to be explicit. The only way a monthly song makes it into the cut is, number one, it's family friendly. It's okay, because that's the goal of the program.
It's definitely not going to be Rammstein then for a monthly song.
I don't know who you're referring to there, so I'll take your word. The second thing is it's got to be something that has been heard or is thought of as a decent song in a manner of being pop style or happy style.
Oh yeah.
So this is the throwback to the Troll song, Can't Stop the Feeling. Okay. Or, Uptown Funk, even though there's other versions of it, that's the clean version, and it's upbeat, fun song. It's something that most everybody would have loved to have in their display. So that's the style, and that is not the style, but that's kind of the theme to go for. So that's number two. And number three, Christmas.
Oh yeah.
It's always going to be, I can't say it's always going to be Christmas. What I'll say though is that if it's not kid directed, Moana and Lego, and if it's not, pop or pop friendly, it's going to be Christmas, which is like Gwen Stefani and Blake Shelton, which I put that questionnaire out there and I said, who likes country Christmas? And I got blasted. And then I put the sequence out there, and 90% of the people upgraded that were in the club upgraded to the pro version. 90%. Oh, yeah. That was one of the highest rates. So popular Christmas, and the fourth one is traditional Christmas.
Yeah.
And I think though the hardest thing for people to understand is that it's not that we want to do only those kind of songs, but that's the way our program's been. That's the way that's the way we've always thought about it, and that's the way we always promoted it. We never promoted the Sequence Club as a pick your own sequence club. We've always promoted it as family friendly, variety, Christmas centric.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the goal.
I think I'm coming up on well over a year being in the club, and I've never had, an issue with any of the monthly songs that come out. I think they're absolutely awesome. Sometimes I forget to go in even when you remind me to, and I still forget to go in to get it downloaded. Mm-hmm. But that's only because my fault, and my memory's about as long as my hair. So, which is
far longer than mine. So yeah,
I almost shaved it off bald and put a goatee on this weekend to be Clyde from Montana. So I was ready to go live. I even told Rob I was going to do it, and by then I just lost the love and feeling. So, but bringing up Rob, I know he's out camping with the family and stuff, and that's all good. No problem with that. But how did you and Rob get started? Did you already have Pixel Pro displays and then Rob came in, or how did you guys, and when did you guys get started?
So the idea of PPD came up. Well, the name was Rob's. Rob came up with the name, and we couldn't use Pixel Pros because that was already taken. And he kept saying that word over and over again. Pixel Pros, Pixel Pros. We're the pros, dude. Nobody can do what we can do. But the displays came from me, and it had to be plural because we didn't want one display. Pixel Pro display didn't make sense. So I said it needs to be Pixel Pro displays because we do more than one display. And it's not just one display, it's all displays. And so before it was PPD, it was Leechburg Lights. And Leechburg Lights was basically me working from home on my days off and enjoying my hobby. And the time that I went from me working from home, enjoying my hobby, to 2015 when I realized that people actually appreciated a lot of the things that I did, and I had no idea. I went to my first Christmas Expo in 2015. What that told me was that I was onto something, and the something I was onto was the sharing of the knowledge and the information. And so it's been my goal ever since to always try my best to put the best information out. And the whole time, it's not been about me. It's been about what I've learned and sharing what I've learned. And that's one of the reasons why I've enjoyed the Christmas Expo, is every year that I do get to attend, I get to share with other people the things that I've learned. And I get to meet the people who watch what I do and learn what I do and utilize what I do and then put it to work. So it was quite all 100% accidental that I began doing videos, but I guess it was the natural course of things. So I was on the front end of it with the residential side and just the learning side. Where Rob comes in was Rob had done literal, when he was in school and he went to college, he was into trade work and not trade work, into sound and stage design and setup and so forth. So he had a little bit more industrial knowledge with display setup or just in general lighting and sound and so forth. And he'd already had a couple different kinds of commercial projects on the back end. And he specifically did one in, I want to say it was 2016. He specifically did a couple commercial jobs, and he got to see the side of the industry where you just got to go for it. And Rob has that ability to see things beyond what they are today, where at that point I was just enjoying what I had for today and working for the people in the community that wanted it. So when Rob approached me in 2017, that was the first year for the Arizona display. He says, are you done with your layouts? Are you done with your clients? And I said, no, I've still got another 2 sequences to do. Plus I have a whole client that I have to take care of in the month of December. And he says, well, you better clear up your schedule quick because we've got a lot of work to do. And to be sure, Rob's a fantastic guy, but I mean, when we have work, there's work to do. I said, what's going on? He shared a screen on Zoom one night and says, Clyde, I'm not the sequencer you are, and I don't understand the programming side of X-Lights the way that you do, but I do know that you can pull this off. If you can pull off what you've been doing all summer, which was I had started doing sequencing in the summer in 2016. Yeah. I was absolutely busy. I was hammered. And that's when he said, this is a SketchUp of so-and-so of drive-through park. And I'm like, Rob, we can't do this. He says, I've got it half done in X-Lights. I need you to sequence it. He says, I'm going to be done with it. I'm going to be done with it in a week and a half. We need to find another sequencer because we have to have 8 sequences ready. And I was able to do 5 in 5 weeks.
So then you just sub somebody else out then to take care of the other 3?
We did. We worked with other sequencers. There, one of them is rather well known, and another one is much more quiet. Rob picked up one sequence and did a sequence. Okay. So, and his sequence that he produced was Little Drummer Boy, and that's the one that's available in the store now by Toby Mac. So that's 100% Rob's work.
No kidding.
Yes. So he usually doesn't. It was totally his style of music. I mean, there's some things that he's really good at. In fact, that's the music he's really good at that I just have a little bit more challenge with. But overall, that's how it kind of started out, was with that project. And not only that project, but it began with other things as well. We worked really well because we were able to kind of divide and conquer. Here's what I can do. Here's what you can do. We both can get more done if we work together. And it just made some more sense.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And Rob did the Avengers one for the private customer or for the client for.
Yes. So I had developed the client in 2016. That was the year I had the fire, and it was the summertime, and I had just gotten my house together. I just finished putting water into my kitchen, and he sent me a message and said, "Hey man, I want to do this layout and I don't know where to start. And I want you to help me." And I told him, "Well, sell all your LOR stuff because you don't need it anymore." And he listened. And so the next year, this last year, he says, "I want this custom sequence done." And I said, "Well, I'm really kind of busy." And he says, "Well, I have 2 of them that I want done. I want both of these done." And Rob was caught up, and I looked at Rob and I said, "Pick which one you want to do because I can't do both of them."
Yeah.
And he says, "Okay, I'll do the Marvel Comics one," which was, to be sure, was the more fun of the 2.
And he did an awesome job on that. That was so cool.
And he pulled it off. He really pulled it off.
It really looked good. He was sharing little parts of it with us one night, and it was, I mean, just to me, it's an emotion. You're watching an emotion on a house. Yeah, the lights are blinking and flashing. They're doing different things, but you should get a sense of feeling within yourself when you're watching it. And that's what I grade my sequences on. And I know we joked around because one night I had too many White Russians and I bought a couple of the same sequences by accident because nobody understood drunken gibberish, and it's their fault. But when I'm watching one, and it's just like the one that I won with Rob over Expo. Oh my gosh, I'm totally going to brain fart it now. I got to bring it up. But I won it on Friday night, and I'm like, that is so cool because when my mom and brother were here helping us out, and you guys released that, I put it up on the TV, and they just absolutely loved it. And that happened to be the sequence I won. And I'm like, oh, this is too cool because it's perfect. It gives you that emotion when you're watching it. And that's like when, if you're eavesdropping with your patrons that are outside watching your light show, if they're screaming and cheering, I don't know if they were stoned or drunk or what, but they were having a really good time, but they were screaming and cheering and stuff and just having a great time at the end of every song. And I'm like, that was a good job. That gives me a sense of pride.
That's a good feeling.
Oh, yeah. So, Keith, I know I've been kind of hogging all the questions here, but you got any questions for Clyde?
I'm just here to make sure you sound good. I'm doing the editing later. But yeah, man, I mean, what I really like about what PPD kind of does, and Clyde Lindsey really, I think the first time I really saw you, got kind of acquainted to Clyde Lindsey was that your YouTube video about your enclosures. I mean, I could tell, you mentioned it, you love to share things, man. I could tell that as soon as you learn something, you're trying to think about how can I get this, not necessarily to get it out there, just to share it with everyone, to get everyone else to absorb that knowledge and then see what other people could come up with it. You're a guy in the community that builds the community up. It's not, it's great. I love what you guys do, and I really love especially what you do, Clyde.
Yeah, it's like the part 7 that he just released today. You know, we're just getting back into X Lights, and well, not just getting back into it, but